Alright. Hey everybody. Okay, so I can have something in my hand as a illustrational purposes. I'll have this, my M&P replica handgun. Considering I'd like to talk about handguns right now, this would be the perfect prop or something for me to hold on to. Now, as I've already said, I'm sort of fascinated with the M&P line here. I would like to own an M&P when I'm legally allowed to own an M&P. But doing the recent video I did about Glocks and stuff like that, it's given me an idea. Somebody, for a single stack and different stuff like that I said on the Glock video, I've been told a few times, well, why don't you just get a 1911? Single stack and all is easy. With everything I described in there, they told me, why don't you just get a 1911? If you go for ergonomics, different stuff like that. Well, I'll talk about why I don't want a 1911 either. Honestly, when the 1911 came out, I would have rather had the 1911 than a revolver. I just simply put, it might be, granted, it was probably less reliable, but to have a magazine, a sidearm with a magazine, and semi-auto, more rounds, easier to reload, all those advantages that the 1911 gave at the time it would have been a great tool to have. And I even hear that the people who were issued it loved the 1911. I mean, I would too. The 1911, in my opinion, started the Americans on the semi-automatic pistol route. It's sort of like the Glock of the polymer pistol world. The 1911s started something amazing in the firearms world. It's still to where it's still accredited as one of the greatest guns ever made. I mean, honestly, to every gun nut, it is the most beautiful creation that man has ever come up with. And there's no doubt, if I had the opportunity, I would probably own a 1911. But I don't want it just yet. But in the same breath that I say a 1911 is a great handgun, I do not think it is a good combat handgun or self-defense handgun. Why do I say that? It's because of all the safety. In my opinion, it has too many safeties on it. I'm one of those people who believe that the biggest safety is your trigger finger. You should have the knowledge and the instincts and everything to not put your finger, and follow basic safety rules, and not put your finger on the trigger until you want to actually destroy the target. So keep your finger off the trigger, about 98% of the time, this puppy will not go off. So I'm a big fan of the Glock style weapons that don't have any safeties on them at all. Massive fan of that. Secondly, I have a tendency to forget minor things. Like sometimes I forget, like if I don't put the right shoes in my car at the right time, I'll forget to wear it. Or I won't have the right shoes to wear at school and different stuff like that. So I forget really small stuff, especially when I'm rushed. So if I have to make sure I have a proper grip to engage a paddle safety back here, disengage a safety, and while trying to make a proper sight alignment and all that, sight picture, identify the target, run down the list. If I have to do all that stuff just to make sure I can fire, I guarantee you I will forget that. So I do not like safeties on self-defense guns, combat handgun, whatever you want to call them. So that's pretty much the only reason I do not like a 1911. And not to mention, it's full metal. It's heavier. I don't want to carry something that weighs as much as my refrigerator on me every day. Okay, so doubtless a 1911 is an incredible firearm, but I do not think it is a plausible. I don't think it's a feasible self-defense handgun, in my opinion. So you can't argue that the 1911 is a great firearm, but I do not think it is a good sidearm for me to carry around. Whether if you decide to carry a 1911, that's up to you. I will not give you any grief for that. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to get grief for making this video as well. You do not attack the Glocks of the 1911s unless you want to die a slow death of trolldom. So I'll stop digging myself into a hole and remind you to walk a Christian walk and carry a loaded Glock.